Welcome back, English 401, University of New Hampshire. I'm Jess Flaherty, your instructor. First, I just want to make sure you see this. This is the research essay assignment sheet. This is available on Canvas under the Files section. You should definitely open this up and read it because there's going to be a lot of information in it that I'm going to be referencing today. Specifically, your use of research sources. There are 5 different research sources that you need to have for your paper, so I'm going to be laying them out today. And also I'll be talking about the annotated bibliography, which I am going to ignore. We're going to wipe that from the grading rubric, and I'll show how that works and what we're going to do there. So I'm just going to start out by reading the top of this so you're on the same page with me. This is about the research essay. So this is the description of the actual assignment. This assignment is designed to allow you to discover information about a topic and a researchable hypothesis regarding an area that interests you. Your research question will guide your inquiry, and in turn, your inquiry and discoveries along the way will determine how your essay will follow an argumentative/persuasive approach. This assignment will bring together many of the writing skills that we've been working on this semester, such as writing with a specific tone or voice, evaluating others' arguments, evaluating sources, informing our writing with research, developing a clear thesis, paying attention to the audience, and expressing a logical progression of thoughts. This essay counts for 20% of your final grade and should be representative of the skills you're developing this semester. It's a big reason why we do the research essay last. The personal narrative was just sort of like getting the wheels moving, right? Getting used to writing again, getting used to writing for an audience, getting used to forming those cumulative sentences, right? Those 3-step sentences. While the rhetorical analysis was teaching you how to analyze information and what information is strong, what information is weak, different kinds, of logos and kairos and pathos and ethos that a person can have to make their argument more believable. Now, you're going to be doing your own research for this essay, and you're going to be using that same skill from the rhetorical analysis to make your own argument. And there are 5 different kinds of sources that you're going to need. If you just want to have this open and available, I'm going to be going down that list. This is a mental note to yourself. This paper is 7 to 8 pages long, so it's a little bit longer than the previous essays. You have a little more space to breathe. Look at the essays and transitions to see how they got to that length. First, one of your research sources can be from the internet. That's fine. You can have more than one also. So this could be an article, this could be a website, right? This could come from an online magazine, like all those are okay. No encyclopedias. That will not count as a source. This is just something that I was told to do as part of, being in the UNH English department. We don't like using these encyclopedias, especially Wikipedia, as a research source. So you can use it to start your research. A hack for you is to go on that Wikipedia page for your article and then look at the Wikipedia page sources and go to those instead. So one of your sources can be from the internet. You can have more. So remember, 5 is the minimum number of sources you need to have. You can have up to, maybe 10 or even 11 or 12 sources total. That's just going to make your paper stronger if you have more sources. 5 is the minimum. 2 of the sources need to be academic or from research journals. So these you're going to find on the library website. Remember the opposing viewpoints. So if you're stuck and you don't have any info, you can go onto that. Again, contact Ben Peck, the research librarian, if you need help with these. Also, the place I'd like to go is Google Scholar. Make sure you are logged in through your UNH key through the library, because you should be able to get lots of these sources for free. If you log in, it says you have to pay for this source or something. Make sure you're logged into the library website when you click on it again, because it's likely that you can get it through the resources that you have, right? This is part of your tuition, counts for this. So 2 sources need to be academic or research based, all right? Third source needs to be a guess this is number 4. This is a field or a research based source. So this can be an interview that you conduct. And just FYI, you can interview anyone who's considered an expert, but due to the pandemic going on right now, you might have a longer response because everyone's working online. Actually, might be a faster response. Who knows? You can also do a survey. I had a student who was doing a paper on the cost of EpiPens, and they surveyed everyone in their dorm in order to get like their feedback on what would be a fair price for an EpiPen. So they did their own survey. You can also find someone else's interview or someone else's survey that they've already been done, and of course, anything that has any kind of data or any kind of like experiment. Some of you also, depending on your topic, might have to sort of be flexible with this one, with this field or research-based source. And if you can't find anything, just email me, and I'll show you what you can do, how you can find something. Mental note: don't ask other University of New Hampshire professors for an interview unless you personally know them. So just because you're doing a project on animal science doesn't mean you should email someone in the animal science department and say, hey, I'm a first-year student and I'm doing a paper on this. That they just get overwhelmed with students who do that. So they prefer to have you not do that unless you personally know someone. And if you know them and they want to give you some time to do an interview, then that's awesome. That is very highly recommended, getting that person-to-person contact. A final research area that you need to have is usually an academic book, but because we are online, this is probably going to be some kind of ebook. Now just look for a longer work. And this is where I normally encourage you to go to the library, because you can look at the shelves and you can see the other things that are next to your book that you found that are related, but the library's closed. Ugh. So another option you can have here is to use the writer's presence. There are tons of essays in here, especially the whole middle section is research essays. They don't have arguments, right? So you don't want to make your essay like theirs. They're just expository essays. But then all the other essays in the back too, the argumentative essays, might be serving your topic in some way. They might only be like tangentially related, related on a slant, but that is enough. And this counts as an academic book, so hopefully you took this with you. The transitions essays do not count as an academic source because those are written by students who, are not really vetted in the same way, because it's a first-year writing class and it's not, a graduate level class where you're submitting to a work of like other people who are professionals, right? So transitions, not okay, but writer's presence is okay for this one here. And use your local libraries and stuff too if they're still open or still available. All right? So 5 different sources, 1 or more from the internet. You can have, again, 3 or 4, that's fine. At least 2 that are academic or research-based. 1 that's a field research. You can do it yourself, right? You can conduct an interview. You can conduct a survey. Hopefully you can find another source. Also look at government websites are really good for this. If you've got any sort of a connection to the different part of government, like there was a student last semester who wanted to do a paper on how the fishing industry was going in New England, and so he went to the wildlife management website and he found like some cool studies that had the yearly catches coming in through Boston from different fishermen and things. All right, couple final notes here on this. Okay, you must disagree with one of your sources. So you need to find a source that has a different opinion than you do. So if you're arguing, for example, let's go back to the student who did the project on bees. Her argument was that the pesticides were the very worst thing that's causing hive collapse. And she probably found a source that argued that there was a different reason. For example, the urbanization of the environment and the lack of flowering trees. And she thought the pesticides were more based on her research, but this other researcher said, no, it's because of the urbanization. And so she would disagree with that person, and that would count as the source that she disagreed with. You should also strive to find a source with, or where the person who has written it, sorry, is this recording? Oh, it is. It just died for a second. I've gone too long. 10 minutes, it cuts off. You must find a source by an author whose identity is different than your own. So that just means if you are a male, then you should have at least one person who is not male, who is one of your sources. You can, and this is just one, right? This is just trying to prevent us from all having like the same kind of person who is giving us our information. So it could be, they can have a different gender identity than you, they can have a different ethnic identity than you, they can have a different sexual identity than you. However it works, just try to find at least one person who's an author whose identity is different than your own, because we're too homogenous if we all have the same, research coming from the same type of person. And as a final note, I am cutting the annotated bibliography. Now, that means that you're only going to have a works cited page. This is normally 10% of your grade. So instead, every other aspect of your grade is worth 2% more. The reason I'm cutting the annotated bibliography, first of all, what is an annotated bibliography? Okay, an annotated bibliography is a document that has all of your sources, so it will have a list of your 5 sources in MLA8 style, and it will have a description of each of them, where you have to describe what the source is and how you're using it in your paper in like a paragraph or two. And you can see an example of one of these is in transitions towards the end of the book. I'll list the page number, I forget what it is. I don't like annotated bibliographies. I'm doing one right now in one of my other classes, and it just feels like a waste of time to me. Find the sources, think about them on your own. I'm not going to make you write them down into this annotated bibliography. We're just going to throw that out. You will have a works cited, and you will need to have at least 5 different sources in it for this research paper, but we are not doing this annotated bibliography. So I'm readjusting the syllabus, and every other part of your grade is worth 2% more. So that 10% has just been redistributed into the other categories. Check the syllabus or email me if you have any questions. And you should be starting your research. Next week, we're going to be having our first workshop on Thursday. So this is it. Jump into that research, and hopefully you'll be able to post your initial research question today on the discussion board, and we'll come back and have a different research question maybe on Thursday that you changed. All right? Good luck until then.